Hi, this is Sharon Salzberg. Many of us have a tendency to focus on what we don't like about ourselves, our companions, our situations. It's not that these thoughts are always inaccurate, but we can be very one-sided in our perception and overlook a lot of what is good or positive just through the force of habit. Maybe at the end of the day, we pretty much only remember what we did wrong. Or we criticize ourselves for not doing something perfectly, when in fact, it was actually good enough. Or we recall how hard midday was, and not so much the delight of the morning. These tendencies often grow into habits, blocking out a fuller, more true picture of our day. To have the resiliency and energy to skillfully face difficulties. A crying baby who can't be consoled. A sense of overwhelm. A day of constant change, suddenly outside of our control. We need to find and nurture inner resources. If we are already feeling depleted, in part because of this one-sided view, we might have a harder time nourishing ourselves in this way. If we can make a point of including positive parts of ourselves, positive emotions, positive experiences in what we notice and remember, we will have a better and more true picture. This will help us have a growing sense of balance. Because our habit towards the negative can be so strong, it takes a willingness and a conscious effort to include the positive. But this doesn't have to be a phony effort, one that's forced or sentimental, denying real problems. It shouldn't be. We just want to give some attention to aspects of ourselves and our day that we usually overlook or ignore, so that we can have a better sense of balance, stability, and centeredness, and be better able to meet adversity. During the instruction, when I become silent, that is your signal to put into practice what I've just suggested. Begin with a relaxed, easy posture, however you feel comfortable. Center your attention lightly on the breath, wherever you feel it most clearly, nostrils, chest, or abdomen. See if you can think of one good thing you did yesterday. It may not have been very grand. Maybe you smiled at somebody. Maybe you listened to them. Maybe you forgave yourself for not saying something totally correctly. Maybe you reflected on how human we all are, instead of haranguing yourself. Maybe you thanked a bus driver. It's not conceit or arrogance to consider these things, but it's quite nourishing, replenishing, to take joy, to take delight in the good that moves through us, that we can manifest. Sit with that recollection for a few moments. If at this moment you cannot think of something good you did, that's okay. Sitting down to do this exercise, to meditate, counts. It is a way of befriending ourselves, being willing to step out of some ruts and try something new. That's very positive. And keep in mind that we do have inner resources in awareness and loving kindness. They might be somewhat untrained, but that's true for everyone. And we have a potential for developing and growing them just because we are alive. The awareness we seek is always as close as this breath and this moment. Knowing that this breath that began the moment you were born can be an ally and a friend, a place to return to for stability and for comfort. If you ever feel a reflection isn't working for you, it is always fine to turn your attention to the breath. Think of someone you know who's having a difficult time right now. See if you can also think of the good within them. Maybe the times they've reached out to help others, their own sources of strength. The fact that they too have a potential for growth and change. You can see that this person is not just their problem, but something bigger. Think of a difficult time in your day. Can you include yourself as being bigger than your problem, with a potential for growth and change? Even in the midst of difficulty, a crammed schedule, a challenging conversation, remembering that this too shall change. It isn't permanent and forever, is being bigger than the problem. Even if you lose your temper or feel overwhelmed, remembering you can begin again and come back to balance to start over is being bigger than the problem. See what it feels like inside as you do these reflections. Do you have a sense of being less confined, less stuck in habit? That there might be a fuller perspective on things? That bigger sense of space is sometimes called equanimity, which means balance. It doesn't mean that we never get overwhelmed or exhausted. It means we work with our attention so that we experience some options. When we're having a rough time, we can more easily remember this isn't the whole picture of who we are. When we're just having a routine or ordinary day, we have a resource for some more joy. You can close by simply sitting and being with the breath. You can be with the breath gently, as though you were cradling it, cherishing it. We meet this moment and we cherish it, one breath at a time.